All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me here at 8 o'clock. My name is Allen Devlin. I'm an anchor here with Atlanta News First. We are up here on our First Alert desk every weekday at 8 o'clock and on weekends at 4 and 8 as well. So we're going to go over today's top stories, and then we're going to talk about the weather. Not much to talk about, honestly. It's been phenomenal today and yesterday here in the metro, but we are expecting some rain later this week. I want to jump right into it, as I always try and do here. We're going to start off with a sad story out of Buckhead. A 25-year-old valet, just doing his job, interrupts a potential car break-in, this according to police, and then that person who police say was trying to break into that car shot and killed him, and he was rushed to the hospital. He didn't make it. Atlanta News First Amanda Rose spoke exclusively to that valet's mother, who walks us through how these days have been without her only son.
I just can't believe that it's gone. He's only 25.
Autumn Ernst is heartbroken and angry that her only son, Harrison Olvey, is gone forever. The 25-year-old parking valet was shot and killed early Sunday morning, working at a Buckhead nightclub after police say he interrupted a car break-in. The fatal shooting happening near a parking garage off Piedmont Road in the Lindbergh Drive area.
He was just doing his job. You know, knew the owner of the car that was getting broken into, and just all he said was, what are you doing? And they shot him.
Paramedics rushed Olvey to Grady Memorial Hospital. Ernst was there waiting for him, but doctors told her it was already too late.
All I could do was just rub his head, kiss his forehead, tell him goodbye. He had just gotten a haircut and he just looks so handsome.
Ernst says Olvey had recently graduated from Kennesaw State University and was working as a valet to make some extra money before he accepted another job. She says his smile could light up an entire room. And
Hey guys, I apologize. It looks like that video cut off there early. I'll kind of pick up where they left it off, though. Basically, they are looking for a person of interest who they say is driving a dark-colored Kia K5. And now this is just a person of interest. It is not a suspect, but they did have some photos up. I'll do my best to see if I can share those with you coming up here. But right now, it is a matter of just trying to track down the individual in that photo, the individual they're identifying as a person of interest, and attempting to move forward to bringing justice to Olvey, that mother dealing with the unimaginable right now. Olvey, 25, just graduated from KSU, just trying to do his job. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about here, because it seems like we're having some technical difficulties up here. I do apologize. I want to walk you through a situation out of Valdosta down south, where we've got Georgia Senators Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff down there touring some of that damage. Valdosta, one of the hardest hit areas. It is an unfortunate situation, but they were out assisting, helping, and they're asking President Joe Biden in the White House to, call for a federal the exact terminology escapes me here. I'm sorry for the lack of a better word. Basically, a federal state of emergency for that area to allow them to get better assistance, open up the Georgia state funding. Brian Kemp has been calling for it as well. So it looks like that will eventually happen here, and that'll break down to more added aid for all of our South Georgia neighbors who were just slammed by this hurricane. The hurricane actually moved across the state. It spent more time in Georgia than it did in Florida or South Carolina. And I think my brain kind of referred to it as a tornado there because a lot of people were describing the path it took as a more narrow path, similar to one of a tornado, but the hurricane itself much wider than what you'd see out of a tornado. The damage, though, similar, because you've got roofs ripped off houses, you've got trees toppled, you've got gas stations toppled. If you've seen the video coming out of Valdosta in South Georgia, it was a mess. Strong winds, heavy rains, but thankfully only one person deceased because of the hurricane. That person was actually, the tree fell on him while he was out cleaning up the damage after the storm left. So our thoughts and prayers are out for his family. So one of our assignment editors here just handed me a piece of paper here. I want to read this to you real quick. It looks like we've got a little bit of breaking news here. A car accident out of East Point. So I'm going to read this word for word, and you guys can hear this along with me. All right, and I've just been informed that Tori Cooper, Atlanta News First reporter Tori Cooper, is going to be switching to the story. She'll have more details beginning on Peachtree TV, Atlanta News First at 10 o'clock. It looks like they say today at 5:06, troopers from Post 47 in Forest Park were dispatched to a one-vehicle crash on Church Street at Linwood Avenue in East Point. So East Point residents, listen up. That investigation determined a vehicle was traveling south on Church Street at a high rate of speed and passed another vehicle in a curve there on Church Street. That vehicle left the roadway and struck a power pole, rotated, struck another power pole, and then overturned. And the bad news here is two of the occupants of that vehicle were pronounced deceased on scene. That is coming from Captain Michael Burns with the Georgia State Patrol. That going down in East Point. Atlanta News First Tori Cooper racing to that scene right now. It looks like a double deadly fatality there out of East Point with that single car wreck. So bad news there. The latest coming up on Atlanta News First at 10. We're also going to keep you updated here online as well. I want to go ahead and turn things over here to the weather because I was having those technical difficulties, so I didn't get to really talk about the rest of what I wanted to talk about. I apologize, guys. I'll get that lined up here. But a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, where things are finally dying down after a very busy holiday travel weekend. Can't complain about the weather, though. You might be able to complain about the lines, Patrick. You might be able to complain about the traffic, maybe the gas prices, but the weather for our Labor Day weekend was pretty fantastic.
And that's the only thing that I can semi-control according to some of the comments on some of the comments, say that I can control the weather. But yeah, the weather was fantastic for this Labor Day weekend. Lots of folks were out and about, and thankfully, Mother Nature was cooperative. And even today, as I came into work today, I noticed it was a little bit warmer. Temperatures got up to 90 degrees across a large chunk of our area. That was a little bit warmer than normal, warmer than average, and warmer than we were all weekend, but still a pretty solid day. Thankfully, we are rain-free, and we will continue to be rain-free as we head through the next couple of days. Now, there is a 20% chance of a shower on Wednesday. A bit of a short wave will slide through the area. Looks like folks that are north and west of town will have the best opportunity to pick up on some of that rain, but a better chance for scattered showers is in the cards for us on Thursday. Now, we're keeping this rain chance at about 30% because all of the guidance is showing that there's not a well-defined line of showers and storms that are going to develop, but there will be some pulses, and that means that there is a low-end chance for some folks to pick up on some of that. The bigger story is that we're going to get the payoff as we head into the weekend because all of that is courtesy of a cold front that's going to slide through the area, and that's going to drop temperatures back down into the 80s as we head into your Saturday and Sunday. So we just have to deal with a little bit of shower activity. Now, I do want to mention that there is a code orange air quality alert. This is something that we see from time to time, specifically in summer, but sometimes that'll start a little bit earlier and sometimes linger a little bit later. And tomorrow's code orange is just because the air is going to be a little bit thicker. There's going to be a little bit more ozone in the air, which will make it a little bit harder to breathe for folks who have COPD, asthma, or any of those type of issues. So you're going to want to limit your outdoor activities, specifically in the late afternoon and the early evening. Because of this, if you're a person who's at home and wondering, what can I do to help with this? They always say that you should avoid pumping your gas around those times and also avoid mowing the grass at the time because that's also going to add more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and that could lead to the air continuing to be problematic for folks. So other than that, we'll start with some cloud cover tomorrow. Expecting some sun rays to break through the clouds, especially as we head into the afternoon, and that's going to allow for temperatures to actually climb warmer than we were today. We expect to be a degree or two warmer across most of the region. You can see that there's a little bit of moisture to the northwest of us. That's going to stay away tomorrow, so I think it's going to be a solid Tuesday. Folks heading back to work, driving in with numbers in the lower 70s for the start of the morning. Lunchtime forecast will send us into the mid to upper 80s. I do think that we'll get into the 90s for a couple of hours as kids are getting out of school. And you're trying to run your errands. We'll get a little bit warmer, but the numbers do trend back down into the lower 80s by 8 o'clock. So I think it's still going to be a solid evening if you were thinking about doing dinner, date night, any of that good stuff. Not a bad evening to be out about. A little warm, but nothing that's too uncomfortable. Now, as we push into Wednesday, I mentioned that there's a 20% chance of showers. You can kind of see that shortwave break apart as it moves into our region, but because it's going to be so warm, I do think that we'll still have enough energy that we could squeeze out a shower or two north and west of town, but I don't think that's going to make its way into the metro. We're going to watch this boundary, though, because this front's going to eventually start to march back down as we head into your Thursday, and that's going to bring in a chance for those scattered showers. That's our best rain chance for the week, folks. And you can see not a cohesive line, not looking overwhelming, and then we're going to see the wind shift on the backside, and that's going to usher in some cooler, drier air as we head into the weekend. So temperatures climbing into the low to mid 90s as we march toward the middle of the week. The rain chances are around Wednesday into Thursday, and then we dry out by Friday, highs in the low 90s, and then we're into the 80s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. A pretty solid forecast. We call that seasonable because that's within a couple of degrees where we should be for this time of year, and we will be winning and staying dry as we march through next Monday. And we're keeping an eye on the tropics, not so much with the systems that we've been talking about the last couple of days because they pretty much are all becoming extinct. They're weakening and becoming just remnant lows, so to speak. But there are two areas of opportunities that do exist in the open Atlantic Basin. One that is moving through the central Atlantic Basin. The other opportunity coming off the coast of Africa. Two tropical waves that are just going to be moving into very favorable atmospheres. Warm sea, warm water, and limited wind shear. That should allow for these systems to quickly develop. The one that's furthermost to the west, looking more impressive. You can kind of see that counterclockwise rotation. That's why that one has a 90% chance of becoming a depression over the course of the next 2 days. And a lot of the models are picking up on the pressure of this sucker dropping fast. And for all of the weather nerds that are out there, whenever the pressure of a system drops, the wind speeds kick up. So that's why we think that we could be potentially dealing with another major hurricane out in the open Atlantic Basin as we head into next weekend or this upcoming weekend, because the guidance is just kind of pointing to that. The next name on the list is Lee. So if this system does reach tropical storm status, that will be the next name to go. We're officially halfway through the list, guys, and the peak of hurricane season is actually coming up in less than a week. It's September 10th. So lots of time left for more storms to develop. You'll want to stay tuned here as your First Alert Weather team will keep you posted on everything that's going on, not only in our local forecast, but we know y'all like to travel, so we'll keep an eye on the tropics so that you can know what's coming and where it's going. So I'm going to actually send you back to the airport for a second so that I can rewind and get you back to your 7-day forecast and allow you to take in that information, screenshot it, and make your plans accordingly. Still going to be diving into some of this information because we're getting new model runs of these systems that are going to be in the Atlantic. And I'm going to have an update for you tonight on Peachtree TV. Atlanta's CW coming up at 10 o'clock. And then we'll be back on Atlanta News First at 11 with more information as well. So you guys have a good night. Happy Monday. Happy Labor Day.